A powerful internet and voice solution from Comcast Business for just $64.90 a month. Call or go online today to learn more.
Sure glad we went to Les Schwab.
I'm glad the baby's still happy.
Well, I'm just glad that along with tires, Les Schwab also does brakes, alignment, and a bunch of other safety services. I mean, if we had gone to a cheap tire store instead, I'd be a doggone wreck.
My thoughts exactly.
During the Les Schwab Spring Tire Sale, save up to $200 when you bundle select tires, wheels, and brakes. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
The Volkswagen Tiguan has a lower maintenance cost than Subaru, Honda, and Toyota compact SUVs. Now's the time to sign then drive. Lease a new Tiguan for 0 down, 0 deposit, 0 first month payment, and 0 due at signing, or get 0% APR financing for 72 months.
Thanks so much for joining us today for Live at 4.
Stay right where you are. Fox 13 News Live at 5 starts right now.
City leaders are asking for another homeless shelter, but advocates say that is not the right solution. They say they have one, but it's a big ask. The story coming up.
We're tracking a cold front. Green means rain, blue means snow. What will you see? I'll let you know in the forecast.
Police say a woman was killed by her ex-boyfriend over the weekend in Ogden.
It isn't something that really any of us ever need to see in our lifetimes.
Today at 5, we'll look into the rise of domestic violence-related homicides in Utah.
In line with warmer temperatures and Utah drying out, human-caused fires are already becoming a problem for fire crews. Why they're asking you to be cautious right now.
And a major milestone for the state of Utah this week when it comes to vaccines in people's arms.
I'm kind of relieved that we were able to develop this vaccine.
Hear from one of the first Utahns to contract COVID-19 as he finally gets his second dose.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13's Live at 5 starts right now.
The visual, yeah, there's lots of people on the street, for sure.
As Salt Lake City leaders call for another homeless shelter, some advocates argue that's not a long-term solution to this growing crisis. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Amy Nay.
And I'm Bob Evans. This issue has been escalating for weeks now. Fox 13's Haley Higgins has the latest from downtown Salt Lake City.
I'm just off North Temple, and this encampment sprung up last week after another was broken up just behind Rio Grande. While a little noisy, this group hopes the camp stays hushed and undisturbed by Salt Lake Police and the County Health Department.
You have a little more freedom. If you make good acquaintances and relationships, then we kind of come together as a little family.
Homeless and suffering from drug addiction, Silence Taylor feels that this is the best option.
Kind of like back and forth 1-2 steps.
While Salt Lake City's unsheltered population appears to reach record levels, some advocates defend the effectiveness of the recently built homeless resource centers.
The resource centers are working. I mean, they're basically filled to capacity each night. And once we get folks in those resource centers, we can begin to work with them, provide health care. We can get case management to them. We can explore housing options.
Instead of focusing on building a fourth shelter, as recently proposed by Salt Lake Mayor Aaron Mendenhall, co-chairs of the Salt Lake Valley Coalition to End Homelessness say permanent affordable housing is the answer.
Once we get folks in that situation, we have a 95% 2-year success rate. Like, people stay. Once they get in that situation, it is the right intervention, and it really works.
So how much affordable housing is needed? An analysis shows Utah is about 50,000 units short. The Utah Housing Coalition believes rent needs to be as low as $238 a month for people dependent on supplemental security income. Advocates hope $50 million in newly allocated state money will help.
Fairly difficult regardless.
For 30-year-old Taylor, he says he's inspired by the volunteers who support the camp, and he's hoping for brighter days ahead. In Salt Lake City, Haley Higgins, Fox 13 News, Utah.
The Salt Lake Valley Coalition to End Homelessness says there are currently more shelter beds available now than ever before, if you include the resource centers with motel programs and temporary housing facilities.
Interior Secretary Deb Haaland will visit Utah this week. She made headlines earlier this year when President Biden picked her to be the first Native American cabinet secretary in U.S. history. Haaland previously promised to visit Utah before issuing recommendations on the state's national monuments. Several groups are anxious to share their opinions on the boundaries of Bears Ears and Grand Staircase Escalante national monuments in southern Utah. Both were decreased in acreage by former President Trump.
We're getting a closer look at how many people traveled through Salt Lake City International Airport over Easter weekend. An airport spokesperson says about 21,400 people went through the airport on Friday, and it steadily rose as the weekend went on. Saturday, about 22,200 travelers came through. Easter Sunday, yesterday, that number was 22,500. Well, you know it's springtime in the Rockies when we can come off such an incredible weekend to a forecast for snow tomorrow, Breck.
Oh, it's hard to imagine you're actually mentioning that. I actually saw you write that into one of our, intersystems here, and I thought, he's got to be kidding. This has got to be a joke.
No, not kidding. Hey, it's April in Utah. We know we can see the snow. I know we can see the snow through May as well. Now, it's not a big storm. We won't see a lot, but we've got some changes on the way. A cool down with the winds kicking in right now, and we're seeing the clouds pushing through with a cold front on our doorstep. Here's a view from our Oquirrh Mountain camera. The surface front tracking through the Wasatch Front. It has hit Salt Lake City. The showers lagging behind just a little bit, but dark, ominous clouds here for northern Utah. As of course, earlier on, we had beautiful sunny weather, and once again, temperatures above normal. Now they're changing, dropping just a bit. Currently, we're at 61 degrees in Logan, where earlier on you were in the upper 60s. Right now, 68 degrees in Ogden. A little bit of a cooler temperature there in Salt Lake City, where we're in the mid-70s. Now we're at 71 degrees. The front hasn't hit Provo quite yet. You're still looking at temperatures in the 70s, and this is still well above normal, where on average we should be in the upper 50s. Now turning towards central Utah, current temperatures in the 70s, even some 80s. As you look at Moab, mid-80s in St. George. We show you the temperature change over the past 24 hours. Yes, cooler temperatures moving through northern Utah. We'll begin to see that impact statewide as we transition in the overnight hours. Now winds, at least direction-wise, changing. Ogden through Salt Lake City coming in out of the northwest. That's due to the front moving through. We still have some breezy conditions out of the south ahead of the front. Now as we take a look at radar, we're beginning to see that impact. Showers lining up, getting ready to roll through. You're seeing green, which is rain. The blue equals snow. What will you see here for tonight, and what will you wake up to tomorrow morning? I'll let you know coming up in just a few minutes.
It's really important to call it what it is. It's domestic violence. It's intimate partner violence.
Police say 41-year-old Mindy Lavelle Elmore was killed over the weekend at a Smith's in Ogden, allegedly by her ex-boyfriend. Her family shared these photos with us.
Oh, just so tragic. In a statement, her family said in part, quote, Mindy was a loving, caring, independent woman. She loved her child and family. She was a hard worker and always knew how to crack a joke. She was always laughing and smiling. They go on to say this was such a horrible tragedy. My aunt did not deserve this to happen to her.
Fox 13's Sydney Glenn spoke with the Utah Domestic Violence Coalition about the rise of domestic violence-related homicides in the Beehive State. She joins us live now. Sydney.
A spokesperson for the coalition says in 2020, the number of people here in Utah who were murdered by someone they were victims of domestic violence has been increasing in the last year. A devastating end to a shopping trip in Ogden left Mindy Lavelle Elmore dead, allegedly killed by an ex. A spokesperson for the Utah Domestic Violence Coalition says she hopes this will start a conversation.
I definitely think we need to do more to address healthy relationships, communicating about what a healthy relationship looks like from very early on with kids in school.
She says people experiencing domestic violence need a safety plan.
The reality, though, is we put a lot of the onus on the victims, and we often fail to address the fact that the individual perpetrating the crime needs to be held accountable.
Even with a safety plan, domestic violence is unpredictable. The National Coalition Against Domestic Violence reports 1 in 3 women have experienced some kind of physical violence by an intimate partner.
It doesn't reduce the risk factors or concern in any sort of way.
Salas says the pandemic is adding to the problem.
For some people who perhaps were experiencing domestic abuse or violence in the past prior to the pandemic, they might have not experienced it as much, or it might not have seemed as difficult for them because they were able to get away.
Those safe havens have been taken away in many cases.
Whether it was church or a library or school or work or the grocery store. And with COVID, many of those respite options went away.
What happened Saturday was a tragedy, and Salas hopes more will be done to help prevent people from ending up in this type of horrible situation. Yeah, following the shooting here at Smith's, that suspect was involved in a standoff with police where he did ultimately shoot himself. That shooting ended up being live streamed on social media. Sol says anyone who may have shared that, she asked them to please take it down. She says this is something that no one should ever see. And in terms of people who did see it, she's urging those people to talk to someone about it. Live in Ogden, Sydney Glenn, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Thanks so much, Sydney. Ogden police expect to release the name, condition, and charges against the suspect in this case tomorrow. Now, we want to remind you, if you or someone you know is a victim of domestic violence, you can call the number there on your screen. There is help available. It's 1-800-897-LINK. That's 1-800-897-5465. And of course, if you are in immediate danger, call 911.
Still to come, testimony resumes in the Derek Chauvin murder trial. Hear from the paramedic who tried to save George Floyd's life.
Body aches were so bad that I could barely walk.
And one of the first people to contract COVID-19 here in Utah gets vaccinated. See his warning as we approach a major milestone in the state.
Join Kelly Chapman weekdays at 4, 5, and 9 p.m. on Fox 13.
Roof repairs?
Call S&S Roofing.
Service on your commercial building?
Call S&S Roofing.
Maintenance on your warehouse?
Call S&S Roofing.
Call
S&S Roofing today.
Safely shop floor and decor your way. Comfortably explore our incredible selection with safe in-store guidance, or order online and pick up your products curbside. Come discover the perfect floor at the perfect price, however is perfect for you. Explore floor and decor in-store or online.
At Big O Tires Spring Super Sale. For a limited time, when you buy 3 tires, you'll get the 4th tire free. That's buy 3, get the 4th free. It's our Spring Super Sale. Only at your locally owned Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Home. It's a small word with a big meaning. It's more than a roof over your head. Home protects us, binds us together, and houses a lifetime of memories. For over 80 years, Golden West Credit Union has helped families of all kinds find the place they call home. Start your home improvement project with a home equity line of credit for only 0.99% APR fixed through the end of 2021. Apply now at gwcu.org.
We'll take care of you.
Whether your car has small tires, big tires, tires that go fast, tires with extra grip, or tires that just get you from here to there, they can be an unexpected expense. Don't wait any longer. At Big O Tires, we have no credit needed financing available. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Week 2 of testimony is underway in the George Floyd murder trial.
Today, the Minneapolis police chief and the doctor that unsuccessfully tried to save Floyd's life took the stand.
Court TV's Julia Janae has the latest from Minneapolis.
Cause of death and police training were at the forefront of testimony as week 2 begins in Minnesota versus Derek Chauvin. The jury paid close attention today, even seemed to struggle with some of the medical terms that were coming from the testimony of Dr. Bradford Lagenfeld. He's the ER doctor who pronounced George Floyd dead nearly an hour after his encounter with police.
Mr. Floyd was still in PEA, but there was virtually no cardiac activity. And at that point, in the absence of any apparent reversible cause, and because Mr. Floyd had been in arrest for, by this time, 60 minutes, I determined that the likelihood of any meaningful outcome was far below 1%, and that we would not be able to resuscitate Mr. Floyd, and so I then pronounced him dead.
Also on the stand, the man who fired Chauvin days after Floyd's death, Chief Madera Arradondo. The chief of police in Minneapolis told the jury that police training on their force emphasizes de-escalation and sanctity of life. Chauvin's defense, however, argues that it's hard to tell what training was in effect and what Chauvin had knowledge of at the time of Floyd's arrest. Reporting in Minneapolis, Julia Janae, Court TV.
After a mistake at a Baltimore manufacturing plant last week ruined millions of doses of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine, the Biden administration is putting Johnson & Johnson now in charge of that plant. The AstraZeneca vaccine was also being manufactured at the plant, but will now be moved out. So it will be solely devoted to the Johnson & Johnson single-dose vaccine. As we've reported, this incident will not impact J&J vaccines that are making their way to Utah.
Still ahead, as we continue to rebound, we take a closer look at which industries are bouncing back and why.
Plus, see what one group is planning to do to help give downtown Salt Lake's nightlife a shot in the arm this summer.
On the next Modern Family, Phil has a new invention.
As you can see, my patent-pending wear chair, TM, press this button, a spring-loaded leg jets out to provide me with a comfy seat.
Hey! On the next...
You put it on backwards, didn't you?
Modern Family.
Tonight at 6:30 on Fox 13. Go beyond the headlines with Fox 13's 360. They're the local issues that deserve a deeper dive. Fox 13's 360.
Johnny, I saw that.
See, kids, she does have eyes in the back of her head, but you can help her keep her eyes on the road to get you home safe and sound. Craig Swap and Associates, one call, that's all.
That's good advice.
If your loved one is prescribed medical oxygen, hope is here. Inogen's lightweight portable oxygen concentrators safely and efficiently convert the air around you into medical-grade oxygen 24/7. No more worrying about refilling tanks, dragging them around, or if they'll be delivered on time. Inogen has a full line of affordable portable systems to fit your budget and lifestyle. Plus, if you're on Medicare, an Inogen portable oxygen concentrator may be available at little or no cost to you. Rediscover things you love to do, like gardening, home improvements, or even dancing. Health is your greatest wealth, so join almost 1 million people worldwide who have taken their lives back. Call Inogen, the global leader in oxygen systems now, and get a free information kit and free consultation. 800-513-3536. That's 800-513-3536.
If you've been injured in a wreck, here's some good advice. Don't take a lowball offer from the insurance company. Let us protect your rights and help you get the maximum payout. Craig Swap and Associates, one call, that's all.
Thanks so much for joining us here on this Monday edition of Fox 13 News Live at 5. Breck Bolton will have your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
The latest jobs report indicates U.S. jobs are bouncing back strong.
We saw the most job creation last month since the beginning of the pandemic. The industries that lost the most jobs also saw some of the biggest improvements.
Alicia Nieves breaks down the industries that are bouncing back and where the next round of jobs are expected.
Americans are getting back to work. According to the March jobs report, we gained 916,000 jobs last month, far more than the 675,000 analysts expected.
More importantly, on top of that 900,000, more than 100,000 jobs were added in January and February with upward revision.
Mark Hamrick is a senior economic analyst with Bankrate and says these industries saw the most job growth. Manufacturing and the transportation and warehouse industries added about 50,000 jobs last month. The construction industry hired 110,000 people, while educational institutions created 190,000 more jobs. And the best news might be this: the industry hit the hardest over the past year. Leisure and hospitality saw the most job growth.
Here's the deal. We still have basically nearly 10 million Americans who are officially listed as unemployed. So just to get those jobs back, we basically need to do the same number of jobs added or recovered in March for each and every month over the next 10 months.
Analysts are now adjusting their expectations for April's job growth, expecting 1 million more jobs to be added, in part because of the strong recovery seen in March and because of the CDC's latest guidance on travel.
For federal authorities to basically say, you're good to go if you're vaccinated, as long as you wear a mask and take good care, for example, while you're on the airplane. That is, I think, going to be not only a green light for the travelers themselves, but also for the authorities who might be at the state or local level inclined to try to impose some restrictions.
Essentially, the guidelines are expected to lead to an even stronger jobs bounce back this month in the airline, hotel, restaurant, and local tourism industries. But looking a bit further, though, experts like Hamrick believe an even bigger jobs wave is to come with President Biden's proposed $2 trillion infrastructure bill.
By spending money on infrastructure, first of all, you're going to help individuals, many of whom don't have college educations, to work in the skills professions that are needed to get that work done. And that helps to address both income and wealth disparity. But I don't think it's a stretch at all to say that it will ultimately result in millions of jobs if passed largely as proposed.
If passed, Hamrick expects the manufacturing and construction industries to see the largest job growth, with billions allocated to improve America's roads, rails, and bridges. Then, tech is expected to see the next largest need for new workers, with the billions more budgeted for improving broadband. I'm Elisa Nieves reporting.
Back here at home now, and while downtown Salt Lake was a far cry from what it has been over a typical general conference weekend, Utah's capital city is poised for a comeback as more people become vaccinated. The Downtown Alliance says this past Saturday was actually one of their busiest days for City Creek. The mall there downtown is the busiest they've seen since the pandemic began. The Alliance is also beginning to share their summer plans. Starting Memorial Day weekend, they plan to begin blocking off Main Street a few days each week, allowing restaurants to expand sidewalk dining and making room for street performers.
That will be a perpetual and ongoing reason to come downtown, because you know there's something going on. Lots of street side dining, lots of performances and engagement, and we're all hungry for that.
To see what else is planned for the summer in downtown Salt Lake, you can go to fox13now.com.
Well, if you're dining outside tonight, you better not be using paper plates because you're going to get food all over you.
Yeah.
The wind is blowing out there, Breck.
It is, and you don't want to be outside, especially a little bit later on, because we'll begin to see some showers across northern Utah. Different story, though, as we turn towards the south. St. George, you've got the sunshine. It's breezy today. Temperature's not quite as warm, but still well above normal. It's been the winds, and look at these low humidity. Yeah, 8% right now. When you have humidity levels below 15% and even in the single digits, if you start a fire with these low humidity levels and the winds, it's just a big concern. Now, the front has moved through Salt Lake City. Notice the temperature change. Earlier on, we were in the low 70s. We've dropped by about 5 degrees, and the wind direction has changed. We're getting a decent breeze behind the front. Northwest winds at 26 miles per hour, kicking up the dust. Visibility down to about a mile. Whew, these winds, yeah, they're going to be in effect here as we move throughout the evening, overnight as well. And we've got some locations as they'll continue on come tomorrow. So let's go into your headlines. I mentioned with the winds, we've got the cold front tracking in. It will bring a chance of showers. We're talking rain and snow for the valleys. Mountains picking up, though. Snow accumulations anywhere between 3 to 6 inches. Now, we'll start to see some snow come tomorrow morning, and we potentially could be looking at a trace to an inch, leaning towards an inch as you move up near the benches. As far as valley accumulations on the roads or the sidewalks, I just don't see that chance. It's just been too warm. It should melt rather quickly. As you're traveling, though, maybe higher up at the canyons, you can see some slushy roads for your Tuesday morning commute. Now, we're going to see a big temperature drop. We're seeing that drop right now. Highs tomorrow about 20 to 25 degrees colder than what we saw today. Watches and warnings, red flag warning. Yeah, with the low humidity and the winds, with winds sustained anywhere between 15 to 25 miles per hour, it's going to be a concern. Southwestern Utah tonight, and we'll extend that wind impact there as you turn towards eastern Utah for most of Tuesday as well. As we show you the cold front position, again, moving through Salt Lake, positioning itself, kind of will be stalling out near the point of the mountain, at least for the next couple of hours. Behind the front, lagging behind, we've got the moisture and we've got the showers. We're seeing those showers moving as you go from Snowville down through Tremonton, and you're looking at some yellow and some orange. That's heavy right near Pocatello. As that cold front does move through with some instability, we could produce maybe an isolated thunderstorm, so you might hear a little thunder as we go a little bit later on, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Cold front tracking in for tonight. The shower threat mainly across northern Utah. Let's confirm that looking at the computer models. Here they have the clock throughout the afternoon into the evening. Again, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, the showers beginning to have an impact across the Wasatch Front. Initially starting off with rain. Notice the color change. It's all blue come tomorrow morning with a big focus across the mountains, but even some of the valleys, especially as you turn towards Ogden northward. Throughout the morning, we can still see some snow. Tooele County, Salt Lake Valley, down through northern Utah County. And then by tomorrow afternoon, the storm finally moves. But you'll notice the shower threat really confined to the northern parts of the state. Looks like towards southwest Wyoming, maybe over the Uinta Mountains, but the rest of the state, you're staying dry. You're seeing the sunshine, but you'll experience the winds and the colder temperatures as we look towards tomorrow. Tonight, it's going to be significantly colder than what we have been experiencing. 30s to 20s in Park City, mid-30s in Price. Looks like we even get down to 32 degrees in Cedar City. Tomorrow's highs only in the 50s, so getting below normal. Where on average we should be close to 60 degrees. We'll be in the 50s from Vernal through Price, 60s in Moab, even seeing some 60s in Cedar City, and avoiding the 80s in St. George. As I mentioned, the sunshine, you get the breeze tomorrow, cooler temperatures, but you're back into the 80s. Not a quick climb, but we'll be looking at low to mid 80s for the next several days heading into the weekend as well. Northern Utah, that chance of a mixture of rain and snow. Again, tomorrow morning, snow, and then changing back into the rain as we move into the afternoon. 50s for highs, then it's back into the 60s. We have a little bit of a cool front on Friday. Doesn't look like it'll bring showers. We'll bring some clouds. Looks to be nice for the weekend. We'll keep temperatures in the 60s. So there's our spring showers. We'll get the return of the spring temperatures, but just a little hint of winter for tomorrow.
We are already starting to see some human-caused starts this season. Conditions are really dry.
It's already that time of year. Wildfires are continuing to start in the Beehive State. What state wildlife officials want you to know so you can help put a stop to it.
And it's a touching display for those on the front lines of the pandemic.
You're changing lives and making a difference. You make the world a better place.
Hear how this work of art came to be.
Join Max Roth on weekdays for Fox 13's Live at Noon.
For 35 years, Bathfitter makes it easy to remodel your bath or shower.
Hi, I'm Bill Booman.
And I'm Rick Booman from Bathfitter. From your free in-home consultation to your installation, we're with you every step of the way, all backed by our lifetime warranty.
Bathfitter's exclusive seamless wall surround gives you the look of tile, slate, or marble. You'll love the result.
Save time and money with Bathfitter.
From Logan to St. George, we serve all of Utah. Call now and receive up to $450 off or 18 months no interest. It's better with Bathfitter.
Hunger. It lets you know you're hungry. For 100% charbroiled Angus beef and A1 sauce. It's steakhouse flavor without all the fuss. Try the Steakhouse Angus Thick Burger at Carl's Jr. Feed your happy.
Forget fancy dinners and flowers. At RC Willey's anniversary sale, we're giving you huge savings on everything in the store.
Now that we're spending more time at home, some rooms in your home may need updating. During our anniversary sale, you'll find incredible values store-wide. Save now on top brand appliances, including washers, dryers, refrigerators, and kitchen packages. You'll also save on top brand TVs and electronics. Plus, this air purifier is only $29 with purchase. We're taking extra precautions so you can shop safely at RC Willey.
For more than a year now, our Smiths healthcare providers have worked on the front lines to help test, treat, and comfort our neighbors as part of our 22,000-member Kroger Health Team. And now, we're making our boldest commitment to date. We've increased capacity at all of our pharmacies to deliver 1 million COVID-19 vaccine doses per week, giving greater access to all Americans. Together, we're helping ensure that our better tomorrow begins today.
Seriously injured? Call the law firm that will help you defer your medical bills so you can focus on getting better. Call Utah's original personal injury law firm. Call Robert J. DeBryan Associates. Car accident and serious injury cases are all we do. Call or click today for a free case review. Now, your attorney matters. Robert J. DeBryan Associates.
What flavors are you chasing? Hand-seasoned Angus beef? A1 sauce? Words written in cursive? Luxury you eat with your hands. Try the Steakhouse Angus Thick Burger at Carl's Jr. Feed your happy.
In today's Money Watch, you know you're paying more at the pump.
The national average price for a gallon of unleaded regular is $2.87. Gas Buddy says that's about $1 higher than this time last year. In Utah, the average is $3.14 a gallon. Prices are expected to continue to increase as experts believe more people will travel as we head towards summer.
Delta Airlines canceled about 100 flights yesterday because of staffing shortages. Delta also says they opened up middle seats a month earlier than expected to carry more passengers. The airline says it's being done because more people are getting their COVID-19 vaccinations. Now, Delta reports having more than 1 million passengers during the past few days. It's the highest number since the pandemic began.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average and S&P 500 surged to record highs today as a strong jobs report and data showing a rebound in the services sector cheered investors hoping for a robust economic recovery. The Dow climbed 374 points to close at 33,527. The Nasdaq added 225. The S&P rose 58.
Much more still to come. Some good news if you want to hit the high seas with your family for your next vacation. What the CDC is saying about how safe cruises will be in the future.
After a record-breaking 2020 fire season, fire crews are off to a busy start. Why they're asking you to be cautious right now.
Fox 13's Haley Higgins, part of Utah's #1 local news team.
Join us Thursdays for Healthier Together at 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Learn ways you and your family can stay healthy with critical updates from medical experts. And see how local groups are making a difference in our communities.
Brought to you by Regents Blue Cross Blue Shield of Utah.
Life's full of little accidents. And the Hyundai Tucson helps make sure they stay little by alerting you if you drift out of your lane and even gently correcting your steering. Because unlike your favorite shirt, you are irreplaceable. Hyundai, the longer you look, the more there is to like.
Get 0% APR for 60 months on the Tucson or Kona, or get up to $3,500 in total savings. Only at your Utah Hyundai dealer.
What should we do?
I'm going to CashNetUSA.com. I can apply in minutes, and if approved, we can have the money as soon as the same business day.
Go to CashNetUSA.com to apply for the money you need.
That deep belly laugh. Their rhythm. The family sweet tooth. They get all that from you. And now they can get America's most recommended roadside assistance from you too. Add loved ones to your AAA membership for 50% off, and they'll get the same benefits, like tow trucks that arrive 20 minutes faster with the highest customer satisfaction. Add loved ones in your household for 50% off with automatic renewal at AAA.com/50. AAA. Outsmart life.
PRA is seeking healthy men and women ages 18 to 55 to participate in a clinical research study. Volunteers must be available for one stay of 19 nights and one follow-up visit. Qualified participants may receive compensation up to $7,000 for time and travel. Call PRA at 801-719-5570 or visit us online at prastudies.com.
were several wildfires in Utah over the weekend, and a red flag warning is in place for parts of the state today.
Bob, we just learned of a new fire in southern Utah in the past few minutes. In fact, it's called the Choke Cherry Fire. We have a map of where it's located. It is burning right now in Iron County, south of Hamlin Valley, which is near the Utah-Nevada border. Now, we are told the fire has burned an estimated 500 acres, and that smoke is visible from Cedar City. The cause of this fire right now is currently under investigation.
Fire officials need all of us to be responsible in these dry conditions.
Fox 13's Brian Schnee takes an in-depth look at this tonight.
Fire investigators determined that more than 1,200 wildfires in 2020 here in Utah were human-caused. That could be a wide array of things, from farming equipment to chains dragged by a vehicle to fireworks, target shooting, or campfires. With warm temperatures and dry conditions here in early April, those human-caused fires are already being sparked again.
The conditions are there for a busy wildfire season.
With extremely dry conditions and a recent warm-up, fire crews have been busy responding to grass, brush, and wildfires months ahead of the traditional fire season in Utah.
We are seeing fire starts, and that activity is starting to increase.
Unfortunately, the 2021 season is showing some similar characteristics from a record-breaking 2020 fire season.
We are already starting to see some human-caused starts this season. Conditions are really dry.
More than 1,200 human-caused fires in Utah last year, some posing threats to homes, some damaging structures and prompting evacuations. In early April, the state of Utah is already experiencing extremely dry conditions, with a red flag warning prompted by the National Weather Service for some areas in the state.
The biggest thing about a red flag warning is the combination that comes with that. So the wind, the low humidity, and the warm temperatures. That is the perfect recipe for a wildfire to easily start and quickly grow.
Which is partially what took place on Sunday, with a fire sparked in northern Tooele County, just west of the Great Salt Lake. Fire moving quickly across the West Desert, but fortunately, the landscape is barren, with no threats to people or structures. What you won't hear in early April is the sound of air tankers responding to fires, with the exception of the National Guard coming in to help on the East Mighton complex in eastern Utah last week. You won't see aerial resources on fires for at least a few more weeks.
In the wildfire world, a heavy amount of our resources are seasonal. This is the time of year that we are very engaged in training, bringing on those seasonal resources and getting them prepared for the season.
We went in depth on this topic on Fox 13 News live at noon. Since fire crews are pretty limited right now, this is the time to stress the importance of being cautious with the conditions. Know what it means to be out recreating during a drought and know what activities to avoid during fire season. We've got a list on fox13now.com. Brian Schnee, Fox 13 News, Utah.
The Bureau of Land Management says one of those recreation activities is to blame for a majority of the fires we have seen so far this year. 8 of those 13 fires were the result of target shooting. In 5 of them, the shooters were hitting explosive targets. Now, while target shooting is allowed by law on public lands in Utah, explosives of any kind are illegal.
We do full fire investigations and try to hold those who start the fire accountable. But at the end of the day, doing the right thing and calling 911 and reporting that fire is the right thing to do. And we will take that into consideration.
If you are target shooting, the BLM recommends using paper targets because even though metal ones aren't explosive, they can create a spark. Also, check your target backstops for any rocks because rocks can also create a spark. And in this extreme drought, one spark can be devastating.
Time for us to turn it over to Breck Bolton right now, filling in tonight. And Breck, I understand you are tracking some rain, even snow rolling in.
Yes, and we desperately need it with those stories, of course, talking about the persistent dry conditions. We show you again our drought monitor where as you look in the dark or light red, 90% of the state, as mentioned, either extreme or exceptional drought conditions. And we're in a precarious situation right now, particularly in eastern, southwestern Utah. We mentioned the red flag warnings in place. And the two reasons being, it's these low humidity levels. As you see across western and eastern Utah, many locations in single-digit humidity levels. This is the air right at the surface. Changing, though, across northern Utah. We've been seeing that humidity increase with the cold front tracking through and bringing that moisture. In addition, the wind strong out there. Persistent winds anywhere between 15 to 30 miles per hour, west central towards eastern Utah. Even as the front has moved through, areas such as Ogden, Salt Lake City, that wind direction changes out of the northwest. We're finding wind gusts, as you can see, 35 to 50 miles per hour. So we have to do our part. Do not want to have any more human-caused fires, especially in this situation as it is so dry. Now, temperatures have been dropping. Logan down through Salt Lake City in the 50s and 60s versus earlier on we were in the 70s. We're still in the 70s, though, throughout most of the state. Here's the scene from our Old Mill camera. It's kicking up the dust. Visibility is not good. Okay, this cold front moving through northern Utah. We can see the showers coming through near the Utah-Idaho border. Heavy at times. You're seeing green. You're seeing blue. That means we're going to see rain and snow for some of us. Who gets hit? I'll let you know coming up.
We turn now to the latest COVID-19 numbers. While today's new COVID-19 case count of 173 was one of the lowest numbers we've seen in a while, the percentage of people getting positive test results actually rose for the third day in a row.
We have only one new COVID-19 death to report today. The victim was a Utah County woman between the ages of 65 and 84. And on the vaccine front, more than 2,300 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine have been administered in the last 24 hours. More than 565,000 people in Utah are fully vaccinated, including more than 70% of people over the age of 70.
In Utah, we'll be clearing a huge milestone this week, administering more than 1.5 million doses of that vaccine.
Fox 13's Ben Winslow has the story of one person who recently got vaccinated, who was also one of the first people in Utah to contract the virus.
Got really sick.
Antonio Cruz Martinez was one of the first people to be diagnosed with COVID-19 in Weber County.
It's just yeah, this is it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to make it. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, one of my friends had actually gotten it, an old roommate of mine, and he died. The body aches were so bad that I could barely walk. You're okay.
He documented his recovery on Instagram, and when it came time for him to get his second dose of the vaccine, he was given it by one of the first people he encountered when he got sick, Amy Carter, the Weber Morgan Health Department's epidemiologist.
I think I was laying on my bathroom floor, looking at the ceiling, and I had her on speakerphone. And she was just kind of walking through, what my symptoms were. Call us if this happens or whatever, and then she would call me the next day or text me once in a while. She did a lot for me at the beginning.
Martinez is now fully vaccinated.
So great now. I mean, it's just, I'm kind of relieved that we were able to develop this vaccine.
This week, Utah will clear 1.5 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine administered. That's a combination of first and second doses. Martinez urges everyone to listen to their doctors.
Get vaccinated as soon as possible and when you can.
Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Bright music there playing at the end as more people are looking at traveling again. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention released new guidance for cruise lines. Now, the industry has been operating under a conditional sail order, and cruise lines have been hoping to learn when they can sail again. The CDC says its next conditional sail order will allow cruise lines to conduct simulated voyages with volunteers and crew before sailing with passengers again. It also calls for an increase in COVID-19 testing and the need for a plan to vaccinate the crew and staff. The CDC is still not given a date for cruises to fully resume operations from U.S. ports.
The Utah Jazz and Vivint Smart Home Arena announced today that masks will still be required at home games and all facility events, even after the statewide mask mandate is lifted on April 10th. The president of the Utah Jazz says they are staying the course to keep everyone safe, and they will adjust their plans as public health conditions improve.
We were all just shaking and about to cry and stuff, and it was just a really horrible experience for all of us.
Still to come, teen girls and their mothers are sharing the story of inappropriate encounters with an elderly man in Eagle Mountain. What police are saying about the incidents.
Fox 13's John Franke, part of Utah's #1 local news team.
At Big O Tire Spring Super Sale. For a limited time, when you buy 3 tires, you'll get the 4th tire free. That's buy 3, get the 4th free. It's our Spring Super Sale. Only at your locally owned Big O Tires, the team you trust.
This isn't our first flip. And sure, some renovations can require a bit of compromise. But there's no settling here. At Floor & Decor, she gets to fulfill her vision while I get in-stock products at budget-friendly prices. All in one trip. Plus, we get the installation materials we need to get it done right and right on time. It's a win-win. Now that's shopping like a pro.
Explore Floor & Decor in person or online at flooranddecor.com.
Whether your car has small tires, big tires, tires that go fast, tires with extra grip, or tires that just get you from here to there, they can be an unexpected expense. Don't wait any longer. At Big O Tires, we have no credit needed financing available. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
We have an update to a story we brought you last week. Several teen girls and their mothers are sharing what happened during what they call an inappropriate encounter with an elderly man in an Eagle Mountain store. The 4 teens were walking around Ridley's when they say a man approached them, made inappropriate comments, and grabbed one of the girls by her arm. Many people are now coming forward saying that that man has approached young girls many times before, not only in Eagle Mountain, but in Saratoga Springs as well. After last week's event, the mothers of the young girls are asking why police haven't done anything about this man.
Violating a children's space or harassing people more than once and being reported constantly and having no repercussions, that there's something going on there.
We completely understand their concern, and we think their concern is justified, and we will take action where we can. And in this case, whether we like it or not, about the only thing we feel like we can do is to submit a charge of disorderly conduct.
The Utah County prosecutor will review that disorderly conduct charge and make a decision about what to do.
April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and Unified Police hoping to bring attention to the problem by establishing a small memorial to the victims. Pinwheels represent the number of cases that UPD investigated last year. The number's down from the year before, but UPD detectives say numbers can be deceiving. Officials with schools say that with schools being shut down for much of 2020 and teachers not reporting as many abuse cases, that put even more responsibility on law enforcement to stop abuse.
They need to look for things, unexplained things like, bruises and burns, unexplained, illness, and even, just complaints where there's change in behavior or there's a withdrawal by the child. There's a lot of different things to look for. I mean, they need to be educated on all the different factors that could be signs and signals of child abuse or neglect.
Unified Police say the issue of child abuse needs to be a focus year-round and that everyone needs to pay attention to and look out for these warning signs.
They've been on the front lines protecting people in their time of need, and now they're the subject of an incredible display of gratitude. We'll show you the story behind this work of art.
Coming up in sports, Utah State has a new head men's basketball coach. And there's a big trade in the NFL today that could determine where BYU's Zach Wilson is picked up in the NFL draft.
The 2021 Jetta ranks #1 for lowest maintenance cost among compact sedans. Now's the time to sign then drive. Hurry in during the Volkswagen Sign Then Drive event and lease a new 2021 Jetta for 0 down, 0 deposit, 0 first month's payment, and 0 due at signing.
Slip and fall injury? Now your attorney matters. Call Robert J. DeBryan Associates. Now your attorney matters. Robert J. DeBryan Associates.
For over 50 years, we've been experts at transmissions, brakes, tune-ups, and more. We provide free towing to any of our 10 locations across the Wasatch Front. Right now, receive 50% off our Safeguard transmission service. We're here to help with our no credit needed financing.
Ah, the first apartment. Minimum decor, maximum entertainment.
They've got a Flex 4K streaming box included with their internet, so all their favorite apps are in one place. Now, even Disney Plus. Where'd you guys get this couch?
Found it on the street.
With Xfinity Flex, your entertainment starts at free. Get started with Xfinity Internet for $19.99 a month for 12 months and get a Flex 4K streaming box included for free. Click, call, or visit a store today.
The Volkswagen Tiguan has a lower maintenance cost than Subaru, Honda, and Toyota compact SUVs. Now's the time to sign then drive. Lease a new Tiguan for 0 down, 0 deposit, 0 first month payment, and 0 due at signing, or get 0% APR financing for 72 months.
Today, Intermountain Healthcare unveiled a new painting from a Utah artist to honor those in the healthcare industry.
And you really have to see this. Heather Olson spent the last few months creating this painting with the help of her sister, who is a nurse, and other healthcare workers. She originally created personal works for healthcare workers who earlier this year went to help on the front lines in New York. That's when Intermountain asked her to do this piece called Together We Can Do This, to honor everyone on the front lines here in Utah.
You truly are heroes, not just because of COVID-19, but every day you're changing lives and making a difference. You make the world a better place. So thank you for all that you do. My heart goes out to you all.
Pretty remarkable. At today's event, doctors, nurses, and others spoke about this painting, saying it really represents the teamwork that helps them all get through these tough times.
I tell you, they are so humble, and yet they are so vital and doing such an incredible work. We could not say thank you enough to all of our frontline workers.
Absolutely.
So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Talking about the weather right now, and Breck, you've got a little gift, you know, when it comes to maybe getting away from all the dry conditions we've been experiencing, right? I mean, we hate talking about fires this early in the year.
I know. It's too early to be talking about that. But yeah, as we've been moving through the day, getting ready for our next storm system, the clouds have been moving through here along the Wasatch Front. Earlier on, we had the blue sky. The color right now, it is gray, and the wind's kicking up. A lot of dust throughout the Wasatch Front, where as this front has been tracking through areas such as Brigham City, Ogden, down through the Salt Lake Valley, we've been noticing some strong wind gusts right behind the front there, where currently in Salt Lake City, that wind direction out of the northwest, 35-mile-per-hour winds with wind gusts closer towards 50 miles per hour. Still holding on to some decent winds in Ogden. It's calm in Provo. The front beginning to move through Utah County. You'll see that wind direction change and some gusty winds here probably in the next hour or so. Watches and warnings due to the winds and low humidities. As a reminder, red flag warning in place southwest Utah over towards eastern Utah. You see the incorporated counties, as this will be in effect at least across the west for tonight. And then tomorrow, it's Tuesday, that eastern Utah will still be looking at the impact of these winds initially out of the south, and then seeing that wind direction change, where as we show you looking ahead with our computer models, by tomorrow morning the focus then again across eastern Utah, and we'll hold on to that possibility with that cold northwest flow coming down over the Wasatch Plateau, having an impact through Castle Country, and then finally these winds will be dying off come tomorrow afternoon. But it's not the case here for the evening. Cold front moving in. It is kicking up those winds, bringing the clouds, and the showers lagging behind, but not too far. Take a look at radar right now. You're noticing the darker greens. That's where we're seeing the shower impact. It's near the Utah-Idaho border. It'll push through Tremont and Cache Valley, then moving down along the Wasatch Front. And then you look just upstream, a little bit further north. That green turning into blue, that colder air will bring those temperatures down and changing it over into snow here in the overnight hours. So the focus is this cold front, and the focus of the precipitation will be mainly across northern Utah, as far south as Nephi, but then it's moving towards northeastern Utah, southwest Wyoming. So most of the state, you're staying dry, but you're going to experience the winds and a temperature drop. But for northern Utah, you get to experience the snow, with the snow accumulations across the mountains mainly. How much are we talking about? Well, for most locations, it's 3 to 6 inches, but as you can see, the model showing maybe a little bit more favorable as we turn towards the Cottonwood Canyons. We can see more to a 4 to an 8-inch range, maybe just a little bit more. So that's good news. Now, valleys will see some snowflakes come tomorrow morning. It's going to come through initially as we look at your hour-by-hour forecast. We start seeing the rain 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. But look at the temperatures as they continue to drop overnight. It changes over into snow Tuesday morning. I'm thinking for your Tuesday morning commute, you're going to see some wet roads. I don't think you'll see slushy conditions. It's just been too warm at the surface. If we see the snow, it will not be sticking. But then it goes from snow back into rain tomorrow, late morning into the early afternoon, and then this storm moves on. So for tonight, the shower threats across northern Utah, starting off with rain, then rain turning into snow. Could see maybe an isolated thunderstorm or hear some thunder in the early evening hours, or I should say 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Tomorrow, it's cooler. It's 50s for many spots, 60s in Milford and Cedar City, and 70s in St. George. We get back into the 80s, though, by Wednesday, and we keep some sunshine around going, and the 80s heading into the weekend. Looks to be dry for the next 7 days for northern Utah. For the south, for northern Utah, I should say, a mixture of rain and snow tomorrow. Then it's clear, it's warming up. A little cooler on Friday. We'll keep the 60s around heading into the weekend, and we'll only have a chance of showers for tomorrow.
Well, the Jazz are in Dallas tonight going after their 10th win in a row. The Mavs also have a 4-game winning streak. They're 7th in the West right now at 27-21. Of course, the Jazz, #1 in the West and in the NBA at 38-11. This is the third meeting between the Jazz and Mavericks this season. Jazz won the first two, and right now, the Mavs lead at 45-38 late in the second quarter. The complete highlights and post-game reaction from the Jazz tonight at 9. The New York Jets took a big step towards selecting BYU's Zach Wilson with the #2 pick in this year's NFL Draft. The Jets traded quarterback Sam Darnold to the Carolina Panthers today, leaving the Jets without a proven quarterback on their roster. The Jets are planning to take Wilson with that #2 pick in the draft, and he could be the Jets' Week 1 starter at quarterback. Utah State announced that Ryan Odom has been named the Aggies' 20th head basketball coach. He led the University of Maryland Baltimore County to an upset win over Virginia in the first round of the 2018 NCAA tournament. First time the 16th seed beat a #1 seed in the Big Dance. He has 24 years of college coaching experience with 7 as a head coach. Spent the last 5 at UMBC, where they won 20 or more games in 3 consecutive seasons.
Gonzaga has time to do something. Sox for the win.
What an incredible ending to the semifinals of the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Gonzaga, the buzzer beater to knock off UCLA, remain undefeated and advance to tonight's championship game. They'll take on Baylor in the matchup of the 2 best teams in college basketball this season. They're scheduled to play in December when they're ranked #1 and #2. But that game was canceled due to COVID-19. Now they play for the national championship.
You know, we go from the euphoric high of that to waking up this morning to the daunting task of trying to prepare for just an excellent Baylor team that I've been marveling at for the last 2 years with just how solid they are on both sides of the ball.
Coach Few and I, when we were together on December 5th and the game got canceled, we said, how neat would it be to play this game on April 5th? And God always has a plan. You got a great game in store, hopefully. I've heard a stat that it's been since 1962 where you had 2 teams that were ranked in the top 3 the entire season, met in the national championship game.
It should be a great game. Well, the highlights tonight at 9. We'll be right back.
With your masquerading and you always contemplating what to do in case happiness found you. Hey, come on, baby, follow me. I'm the Pied Piper. Follow me. I'm the Pied Piper. I'll show you where it's at.
Life's full of little accidents. And the Hyundai Tucson helps make sure they stay little by alerting you if you drift out of your lane and even gently correcting your steering. Because unlike your favorite shirt, You are irreplaceable. Hyundai, the longer you look, the more there is to like.
Get 0% APR for 60 months on the Tucson or Kona, or get up to $3,500 in total savings. Only at your Utah Hyundai dealer.
Arby's, 2 for $6. Every day, Greek gyros and a spicy one. Opa! 2 of those things for just $6. Arby's, we have the meats.
Not everybody wants the same thing. That's why I go with Liberty Mutual. They customize my car insurance so I only pay for what I need. Because I do things a bit differently. What, teddy bears? What, teddy bears here?
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Look outside. Look at all the dust in the air. The wind really has kicked up, Breck.
It really has. Now, we're seeing winds anywhere between 30 to 40 miles per hour as this front moves through. It's pushing through the Salt Lake Valley right at the point of the mountain. It will continue to move southward, and we'll see those showers a little bit later on.
Yeah, this is our Old Mill camera down there on the southeast corner of the valley.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you again tonight at 9.
Enjoy your dinner.